So we are back now with our second session on blockchain and games. It's such an exciting subject. We've been repeating that, and every presentation we're just learning more. It's a track we started since last year, and it's amazing how much it's innovating. And we are welcoming today Mr. Sandeep Nailwal, CEO and co-founder of Matic Network. And basically, Sandeep, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm pretty good. Yeah. Thanks for having me here.
It's our pleasure. And the session today is about how L2 will power blockchain gaming. So L2, of course, is layer 2. Now, if people are more technical, then they will understand what it means. If not, I'm sure you will be explaining in your presentation so that it's clear for everybody. Sandeep, just tell me quickly, why did you choose blockchain and games? Why not blockchain or games?
Yep. So, since I come from Matic Network, and Matic Network is a layer 2 blockchain solution. Basically, it's a blockchain on top of blockchain. You can think of it like, blockchains are not scalable, slow, very costly to do transactions. Layer 2 provides easy, very fast and low cost transactions. And Matic blockchains, actually, they are generic blockchains. So, you can do all sort of different things. It's not like it is not only for gaming, but because of the way it's built, a lot of games are actually choosing Matic Network blockchain. Right now, I think we are the fastest growing blockchain platform which games are choosing. So yeah, so it's a holistic platform. Gaming is one industry which is doing very well, where Matic is doing very well.
Perfect. We're not going to take more time from you because I know you have a presentation and we are limited with our time of 30 minutes. So we'll let you start the presentation now, and then after we can maybe, discuss a little bit more.
Sure. I would love to take it forward. Hi guys, I am Sandeep Nailwal. I am the co-founder and COO at Matic Network. Matic Network is a layer 2 blockchain platform. It provides layer 2 sidechains, which provide very fast and low cost transactions on blockchain while ensuring the security and decentralization of the sidechains. So what is layer 2 basically? Basically, in a very simple terms, you can think that layer 2 is basically a blockchain on top of blockchain, or there can be many other ways of doing transactions or doing decentralized execution. But for the purpose of this presentation, let's for now assume that layer 2 is basically layer 1 is your existing blockchain. For example, let's consider Ethereum, and layer 2 is any blockchain or other decentralized execution or trustless execution platform working on top of Ethereum, right? So Matic Network is a layer 2 built on top of Ethereum, and I'll be presenting on the lines of how and why a layer 2 will power the blockchain gaming to its next next big move or inflection point. So basically, let's get to first that was first try to understand. Let's try to understand that why exactly we need blockchains for games, right? So how do blockchain add value to the games? So if we go deep into that, so the one of the biggest thing that every one of us understands is that blockchains ensure true ownership of assets, like digital assets. So that started with Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies, but now it has been extended into, let's say, gaming assets, which you can have true ownership on top of blockchain. And we all know, we know about the scenarios where somebody spoke out against some government, and that government had the power to ask a big gaming company to shut down the user's account, which the user had generated a lot of items, in-game items and in-game assets after years and years of hard work, and in one blink of an eye, the gaming company simply shut down the user, right? Because he spoke out against some government. So these kind of things, gamers are also slowly realizing, and that's the promise of blockchain games, that you have a true ownership of your assets. Similarly, since you have true ownerships, it also enables open marketplaces to monetize the game time and the game assets. So basically, if you have the assets owned by you, you are free to take the assets to wherever you want. You want to have peer-to-peer trading of that asset. You want to sell it on a marketplace, whatever, everything you can do because of the true ownership. Similarly, since blockchains are immutable and have transparency due to the online block explorers and everything, so you can, anybody and everybody can verify the scarcity of the game items. Like, you cannot be fooled by a centralized or closed a game, that if a particular asset which is selling at a very high cost is actually scarce or not. Similarly, the micropayments, one of the biggest promises of blockchains have been micropayments, and that also, can enable experiences which we have not seen till now. And the last and one of the most important thing is also, like, blockchains enable open ecosystems because of the true ownership and everything. So blockchains enable a kind of open ecosystems where massive amount of user generated content can come on, and users can actually get directly benefited by creating the content. So this can take these user generated content games to the next levels. Uh, so so that those are some of the benefits. Now let's also ponder about what are the biggest barriers for adoption in blockchain games. So most of us know that blockchains are, like, the layer one blockchains specifically, are very slow. So Ethereum, which is expected to be world computer, it has the confirmation times of around 15 seconds, and then you have to wait for at least 2-3 seconds, so 2-3 confirmations. So that means that you have to wait somewhere around 30 seconds to 40 seconds for the transactions to confirm if you are doing a transfer on chain. Similarly, the transaction fees is very high. As recent as I think 2 days back, I was trying to move some NFTs, and it was costing me around $2.5, $1.67 to $2.5 to transfer one single NFT. And that actually, that can work for NFTs which are, or in-game assets which are, let's say, $10,000, $1,000 worth. But if I am transferring or moving around NFTs which, let's say, are $5 or $10 in cost, that's not possible with that kind of this thing. And that brings me, that will also relate to the last point I'll make around the liquidity of NFT games, because because of the high value of the transactions and everything, till now what we see in the market, the NFTs are priced very, like, at a fairly high price, because it's difficult to, and it's costly to mint them and then get it to the user, and then for user also it's very costly to send it around, right? So it actually results in poor liquidity for NFT, and and eventually bad gameplay also. And poor user experience is also one, because the transaction fees is high, the confirmations are slow, so it results in overall bad experience for the users. Onboarding is also very difficult for the users. We have to figure out how to set up a blockchain wallet, like having a MetaMask or some other plugin or extension they have to download with their browsers. Similarly, gas fees, like, they have to, like, if you think they have to go to, let's say, an exchange where they have to find Ethereum, then they bring it to their wallet, and then they have to pay in the gas fees, and which is also fluctuating. So all that results into very, very bad user experience for the gamers. So one of the, like, that's some of these things where layer 2 comes in. And let's see what are the biggest promises of layer 2. So on layer 2 you can do blazing fast transactions, because I already said that layer 2 is a blockchain on top of another blockchain, or a decentralized execution on top of that blockchain. So there you can do much faster transactions on layer 2, and which makes it feel like the transaction confirmation time makes you feel like you are still interacting with a normal web 2 application. Security is also fairly high for the layer 2, as good as Ethereum for some of the layer 2s like optimistic rollups and all that. And it preserves decentralization. A good solution, like there can be a lot of bad layer 2 solutions also, but a good solution can preserve decentralization and hence the ownership. Micropayments, like I'm going to talk more about taking a specific example, for example, of Matic network. You will see that you can enable micropayments because the transaction cost or the cost of doing transactions is very, very low. Confirmation times are very fast, so it results in the great user experience also. So all of this I will walk you guys through a particular example, which is Matic network, which is I come from. So I would like to walk you through the promise of layer 2 by an example of Matic network, and at the end of this thing I will also give some hints if you guys want to explore more into the world of layer 2. So first of all, on let's say Matic network side, let's talk about the technical advantages of Matic network. So as I was mentioning about these factors, like throughput, you can see that on Matic, there's on Ethereum the throughput is around 13 transactions per second. On Matic, on a single chain, you can do 4,000 transactions, and we have even seen in some particular cases, the chain is able to take even 10,000 plus transactions per second. So which is a huge amount of capacity for a single chain. And then blockchain games can have very stable and very fast transactions for this. So transaction cost also for Ethereum, roughly here I've mentioned around 10 cents. This is when the network is not congested. But when the network is congested, yesterday or 2 days back only, I was seeing a gas cost of around $1.5 to $2, right? So on Matic network, it is like 1,000ths of 100 to 1,000ths time of that. And since it's so low, the games and applications can actually afford to pay for these gas transactions themselves using something called meta transactions. So the gamers can actually simply build the games where the end user can simply go and click click click, the way you today play the games. You click click click, install. You have we support a lot of, like as I've mentioned, tooling support. We support a lot of wallets, which some of them are email based or phone based. So you simply put your email, you get a private key. You don't have to set up the wallet and everything. And you are up. You can build a gaming experience which is as good as you see in the traditional gaming world. And that's the dream that we look at. The confirmation times or the latency on the network is also very small. It's like 1 to 2 seconds. Like it's like the way you interact with the games currently. The moment you click, there is some action that happens, right? So similarly, that way. And then because we talk so much about the one of the biggest important factors of blockchains, the way blockchains can add value to the games is the asset ownership. So that asset ownership, due to the decentralization, is also very heavy, very good with Matic network. You can ensure the asset ownership as good as Ethereum, and high degree of decentralization. So it preserves all the benefits of blockchain, but removes all most of the negatives of blockchain from a user journey, right? And then once a user matures, you can slowly take them to the more advanced ways where they can actually interact with the blockchain, have set up their own wallets and things like that if they wanted to. Also, it is one of the biggest success factors of Matic has been the reason why, like why the developers love Matic. And one of the biggest benefits there is that because Ethereum is like 95% of the entire blockchain space, all the developers are essentially Ethereum developers. And Matic actually preserves 100% compatibility with Ethereum. So we say that if you are an Ethereum developer, you're already a Matic developer. You don't need to learn any new language. Solidity is fully supported. It's actually is a get on top of Ethereum. You just need to change RPC. All your deployments, everything works out of the box. So for developers, it's a very smooth experience. Since they are already building applications and games on top of Ethereum, they can in a matter of few days, or like not even days, like in a matter of few minutes, if they have an existing application, they can move that application and utilize Matic's layer 2 scalability on top of Ethereum within a matter of minutes. So even if you are using Matic network, the chain, like the 100% Ethereum compatibility is there. The chain is exactly the same. All you need to, if you are having your assets on Ethereum, your users assets on Ethereum, and you want to have the assets moving to and fro, then you can have deposit and withdraw mechanisms where you can deposit the assets of the users from the main chain, and then when your users want to withdraw, let's say they want to take it to OpenSea, an NFT marketplace, and then sell it there, their assets, they can use it. So yeah. Similarly, the documentation on Matic side is very, very smooth. You simply have docs.matic.network, and you can find out whatever queries you have over there. Plus, we also provide very close-handed support. Also, this is especially again referred to the developers. We play a very close-handed support and close-handed role for the developers. We provide them campaigns, the partner campaigns, where we help them to do promotions. We provide them influencer connects in the gaming community, game testing, and grants and community outreach and whatnot. So it's a very holistic ecosystem for the developers who are building on top of Matic. Similarly, social media, Matic is one of the largest community in the space. It has a reach to now. This reach has gone beyond, I think, around 80,000 people across various social platforms, and it's a great platform to be heard. Similarly, we do a lot of kind of PR support for our gamers, gaming and game and applications. Also, we also do webinars where our the game developers building on top of Matic can present to their gaming communities and share their thing. Similarly, we have a developer support program where we provide technical guidance, marketing, and we also have a fund of like $500,000, and which we keep increasing. Recently, its size is growing beyond, like it has grown beyond $2 million, and we are also supporting developers on a lot of areas. Investor connects and access to Matic sponsors hackathons is also like, as I said, that it's a holistic ecosystem. So we provide all kinds of support to our ecosystem partners, to the games who are building. Currently, the games on Matic, almost all the top games, like for example, Decentraland, Somnium Space, Sandbox, Battle Racers, Decentral Games again. Some of these are very large scale games. Straight Stars is a fantasy sports kind of this thing. Light Trail Rush, and Spells of Genesis. All of these are like, many of these are like legendary games from the blockchain gaming space, and they are currently all utilizing Matic Network. Recently, also 3-4 games like Block Lords and Blockchain Cuties, and all of these have moved on to Matic Network. Why all of this? Because Layer 2 really offers them a platform wherein they can provide the user experiences which are as good as they can build on a normal non-blockchain game. And that is the time where we see that there will be an inflection point where the blockchain games will start going mainstream. Similarly, the developer tooling, as I already mentioned, that it's very extensive. We provide various kinds of wallet, all the kind of like wallet support, oracles. All the famous oracles are there for random number generations and things like that. And Ethereum tooling is 100% compatible with Matic, and many other tooling services like Tenderly, wallet supports and all that. That's about the Matic network, and I showed you that how layer 2 basically supports and actually mitigates the negatives of the blockchain, and provides a platform for the developers wherein now they can start utilizing the benefits of blockchain without affecting their gameplay and without affecting the user experience of their gamers. So some of the other layer 2 solutions one would like to explore is, for example, the optimistic rollup from the Optimism team, and there are ZK rollups, ZK Sync, Validum. On optimistic rollup side, also you have Arbitum rollups, interstate rollups. These, Arbitum specifically is doing really good. Similarly, you have ZK stocks, like Validum, state channels you can explore, seller networks and connects, or more on side chains you can explore scale. These are some of the other layer 2 solutions which are doing very well in the market. And for more technical details, you might want to see some of them. So yeah, that's it from my side. And yeah, I would love to have any questions from the host, if any.
Sandeep, thank you very much for this presentation. It was really interesting, and I believe that every time we host a company that is in blockchain and games, it's maybe a chance also for our developers here to get to know more about this. We know that blockchain is pretty much a focus for the UAE and many of the GCC countries in our region. And there's no reason why it cannot branch out also to gaming, because gaming is also very important in terms of growth and strategy in our region here. You will be able to connect with many people on the meeting platform, and this way you can also organize more business meetings with them. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.